Hey guys, good morning, afternoon, evening. This is Cloudy Wind and welcome to my study stream again. So today we are going to study something very basic, I would say. It's Google Sheets or also Excel. The reason why I'm doing Google Sheet instead of Excel is because I don't have Excel. I didn't pay. I don't have the money to pay for the subscription to Microsoft Excel, so I can only use the free Google Sheet. But anyway, whatever Excel can do is about the same. I mean, most of the basic stuff is the same. You can do it in Google Sheet as well. Of course, there are some things that can only done on Excel. We will get into that when we get into more advanced part of the study, I guess, which will not be today. So today, today's session is going to be really going through the basic, and then we can have another session on a more advanced topic after that, like maybe going into writing forms and then using formulas or code to control the input from the form and to generate the output that you desire. So okay, let's go to the basic. Ignore this very crazy looking spreadsheet. We are going to the basic function. So I will explain as I go along. So I have prepared some data to explain some of the basic functions today. So yeah, I guess the very basic of this is a column, this is a row. I mean, this you know, right? So I'm not going to go into that basic. I mean, you also know what things like view, insert, format, data, blah blah blah. You can just click and see what all these are, right? Like, or changing the font color, block the cell color, or changing the different decimal places, like more decimal places, less decimal places. All this you can just figure out by playing with this ribbon here. So I won't go through that. So I'll go through more of some of the formulas or functions that you should know, or it's helpful for you to know, especially if we are into data. So I will start with the very first one, which is count. So some of you might already know what is count. So count is very easy. Count is just the formula is equal count. Then okay, maybe I'll do it over again. So for count, the formula is equal count, count, open bracket. You can be value 1, value 2, value 3, value 4. You can just count 4. Okay, so if you close bracket, the count is going to be 4, because count is actually counting how many items you have just added to the count. But if let's say I want to know how many total records I have here, how many total items I have here, what I can do is I can just go to count, open bracket, and then I can select the whole column and then close bracket. Okashine, why is it 0? Okay, because I don't know why, but it's very funny that in Google Sheets, right, the count will only count the cell. I can't remember whether that's the same for Excel, but for Google Sheet, you only count the cells that contains number. So now when we look at column D, which is quality, it's not number, it's quality of ABCD of the crops. So that's why the count is 0 now. If let's say I were to change it now, instead of column D, I want to count something that has number. I will count rainfall. Okay, count rainfall, close the bracket, and you will have 99. So let's see how many rows we have here. We have a total of 100 rows, but because the first row is header, so it only counted 99, which is correct. So this is count. Okay, and then there is also something called count if. Okay, so what does it do? So let's say I want to count I want to count let me see what is a good row to choose. Let's say this row. Let's say I want to count the number of rows where k is less than 100. Okay, then I will write equal count if can you see? You can write. Okay, equal count if open bracket my range. Just like we were saying, what temperature? K. Okay, K and then criteria. Okay, let's see whether we can. Okay, I found 72. There are more than 172. Okay, then we just put 72. Close. You can see that there are 2. So what is this? Column C, right? So you can see 72 once, 72 twice. Yeah, really twice. So it's 2. But what if I want to, like what I said just now, less than 100? Can I do that? So if I change, instead of 72, I put less than 100. You can see that there's an error. So nope, that's not how you use count if. If you want to do that, there are other ways to do it. I will go into it later. But yeah, it will count exactly the number of items that is in the criteria. Okay, then we have count if s. So what is count if s? Count if s is when you have lots of other conditions, more than one condition. Because count if you only have one condition. In this case, you only count the items that is 72. K equal to 72 or P equal to 72. But if you want to have more than one criteria, we can use count if s. So let's say for example we want to count only the rows that have, let me see, okay, count if s. Okay, first you need to state well, what is the range that we are looking at. So so the first range, let's say we choose religion. Not religion, region. Yeah, let's say we want to count only from APAC. So we choose the column for region, and then comma, the criteria is APAC, APAC. Okay, then the second criteria, I only want to count rice, sugar cane. What should we count? Maybe sugar cane. Okay, second column, and then the second criteria is it has to be sugar cane. Excuse me. SUGARCANE. Yes. So you can just add on the criteria. For this case, we are looking at the criteria where region is APAC, the crop is sugarcane. You can even add more, like rainfall is like 74.87, things like that. So let's enter. We have 9. Okay, we have 9. So how do we know it's really 9? So let's do a fast filtering to check. So you can highlight the header, go to create a filter. Region, we only want APAT, and then crop, we only want sugarcane, right? So indeed it's 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 APAT and sugarcane. We have 9. Okay, let's remove the filter. There, where is it? Yes, correct. So you can see that the number of counts is already 9. So this is how you can use count to count items with conditions, more than one condition. Okay, so you can do the same for the rest, like sum. Sum, you know, is at the total, right? So you can do a sum. What is this sum? I'll do a new one. So I can do a sum of all the pH. I don't know what's the point of that, but let's do a sum of all the pH. 634.56. Yeah. So this is just add everything together, and then sum if is the same. So what I can do is I only want to count okay, let's not use pH, it's so weird. Actually everything is weird if you use the total. How about rainfall? Rainfall is not so weird. Rainfall is not so weird, right? Okay, let's say we sum rainfall. Wow, 17,000. Okay, that makes sense. There's a lot of high numbers. Okay, sum if. Okay, so again we want to calculate the sum of rainfall, so we select the column, and then the criteria. Oh, sorry, my mistake. We have to choose the range to check for the criteria first. So we check for region. We check for APAT again, and the sum range is where we want to add, which is rainfall, right? So it's H, and then you close. Then you have the total, and this is definitely less than the first one that we did, because this is only calculating the sum of rainfall only for APAT. And then again we can do the same for two different conditions. So again, equals sum if s. So and whenever you have s after if, it's definitely more that means you can add in more conditions. So again, choose the this case, choose the range where you want to do the calculation. In this case we want to calculate rainfall, right? So select rainfall as the sum range, comma, the criteria range, which is the column to look for the criteria. So region is the column, the criteria is APAT. Okay, let's choose another criteria range, crop, and comma, and we can choose okay, sugarcane lor, close bracket, and there is only 1500. So this is how you use sum if s. Okay, so similarly we can do the same for minimum and maximum. So let's do it. So minimum is very easy, it's just equal min. It's the minimum of, let's find what's the minimum or minimum temperature. Minimum temperature is 15.32. Huh, that's very low. 15.32. Okay lor. Okay, and then same, we can have equal to min if. Okay, There's no min if, man. Huh, there's no min if? Huh. Let me check. There's no min if, there's only min if s. Huh. That's interesting. Okay. That was unexpected. So okay, let's do it in the if s then. Min if s. Okay, return the minimum value, filter by the criteria. Again, we want to look at, we were looking at what? Temperature? Yeah, temperature. So we select the range first. And then the criteria, we select region. And then comma, the criteria is APAC. So in this case, let's say we can add more things like select the crop column and then select sugarcane, but we can also just stop at APAC and use it as if it's a min if. I believe so. So I close the column. Yeah, correct. So by doing this, you can find the minimum if. Why is it also 15.32? Chotomate. Is it really correct? What we want to look at? Wait, if I filter, I will mess up everything, right? Okay, so one thing is, don't anyhow filter. What I always do is I insert, before I do any filtering, just in case I can't override it, I always add an index first if there's no index, then I do the filtering. I'll tell you why later. So if again you select the header, insert data, create a filter. We wanted to look at minimum temperature, right? So A to Z. The minimum is APAC, indeed. APAC 15.32. That is such a coincidence. Okay, let's say we try something. We want to find the minimum for LATAM. The minimum for LATAM is 18.95. So let's change the formula. Instead of APAC, we change to LATAM. So indeed, it gave us 18.95. So it works. Okay, now I want to remove the filter. Let's say I remove the filter now. Everything will be in the same order that it was last filter. So that is the reason why I added the index here, because you can see that everything is in a mess now. It's not the original table. So if you want to keep the original table, it's always a good practice to make sure that you have an index first. So before you remove the filter, turn it back to the correct index order, then you remove the filter. Yeah. Okay, let's do the maximum then. If that's the case, I'm pretty sure there won't be any. Just to see. Yeah, there is no max if also. It's max if s. So these two don't have. Okay, so let's do a max. We want to know what's the max temperature. Maximum temperature. Select the temperature column, close it. Maximum temperature 39.6. That's very high. 39.6. Okay. Wow, that's very high. Okay. And then again, let's do a condition. Again is max if s. Then we choose the temperature column, comma. The criteria range. Let's select the crop, comma. And then the criteria, we want to see width. So the maximum for width is 39.11. Let's see whether that is indeed true. Temperature, right, Z to A. So our answer was 39.11. 39.11 is indeed width. So yep, that's correct. Okay, let me teach you a shortcut. So you don't have to always go to the data and then remove filter every single time. To remove the filter, you can see the filter symbol here. So you can just click on this to remove the filter, or click on this to create a filter. So that's a shortcut you can use. Okay, so we have learned count, sum, minimum and maximum. Let's look at something else that is more interesting, called average or not average. So mean is equal to average. So you actually use the average function. So let's do this. Equal average. Let's find the average temperature. Then you can just close it. So the average temperature is 28.41. Okay, so what it does is, I mean, you know how to calculate average, right? It takes the total of all these temperature, all of these, which is the sum, divide by 99. That's how you get this number. So if let's say you want to clarify, right, so it's equal to sum of temperature column divide by count of temperature column. Yeah, so that's how you get the average. But how about medium then? Okay, let's delete this. Medium and average is slightly different. So there's a function called medium. It's really equal median, then open and close bracket the column. So in statistics, right, medium is the real medium value. So how do I explain? So for example, you can have table of A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I can't count. Okay, so A to J. Let's say I have I don't know, 10, 20, 45, 1, 30, 0, 22, 100, 23, 96. Okay, so the average is all this number, the average of all these number, which is 34.7. But because the number is from 0 to 100, so if you use mean of this range, the Nani? Oh, sorry, not median. What am I saying? Can't spell. The median of these 10 numbers is actually 22.5. So so that is the median value. Because let me show you what is median in statistics. So there's a curve, there's one curve, yeah, this curve, uh, let's find one that is not so. Okay, here is that curve in the middle of the curve. Yeah, that is the formula, correct. So this is, oh my god, so many advertisements. So this is how you calculate median using a very cheap, very difficult formula, but it's really the middle of a given set of data. So if you look at the graph, right, I think the graph can give a better explanation. So this is a median graph. You're looking at the center. You're looking at the middle number. The middle number of a set of number when they are arranged from smallest to biggest. So that's why it's different from advertisements coming out. So that's why it's different from average. I don't know how to explain it properly. But median is really like the average of the actual average, not the fake average in a way. Okay, so we have median, and then you also have something called the mode. So what is mode? So this is also a statistics term. When you look at a set of number, mode is the number that has the highest frequency of occurring. So what it means is that, let's say in this case, we calculated the mode for column F, which is temperature, is 35.55. Okay, so let's add a filter and see what it means. So temperature A to Z, 35, no, 26.78, sorry, 26.78. Okay, 26.78. So this is the only number that repeated in the whole data. I'm looking through now. Yeah, this is the only number that's repeated, 26.78. So it has a frequency of 2 times. Compared to the rest, they only have a frequency of once. So that's why it is this number came out. So that is what it means by mode, the highest frequency of occurrence for a number. Okay, and then we have singular and multiple. So the only difference is so when you use mode singular, you only count the very first highest frequency number. But sometimes there could be 2 numbers that are of the same highest frequency, like 35.55 occurred twice. Why is it different again? Okay, let's do it all over again. Equal to mode dot SNGL temperature, right? Close. Yeah, 35.55. Okay. But then if, let's say for example, you have two numbers that also that have occurred the same frequency, like 35.55 occurred twice, but you also have 26.78 that's occurring twice. So you have 2 different numbers that occurred at the highest frequency of twice. Then you use the formula mode dot multi. But if that's the case, then of course you have to drag it down to see how many there are. So in this case, so what I do is, you write the formula mode dot multi, then you look at the column you want to check. So it will automatically fill the cell below if there's more than 1. In this case, that's more than 1 because we know that 35.55 is also occurring twice. Okay, so that's how you use mode to check the frequency. Okay, what else do we have? VLOOKUP, XLOOKUP. Okay, what? Okay, let me delete this away and show you what I mean. So I know that the minimum humidity is 20.58 because I used the formula minimum on the humidity column. So I want to know which are the if I want to know which are the crops is having a humidity 20.58, I can use a VLOOKUP. The problem with VLOOKUP is that the value that you are looking up, in this case humidity, it must be the first column, in the first column. So let me show you what I mean. So VLOOKUP, so your search key is this value here, which is the humidity of 20.58. okay, and then the range that you are searching is here. Okay, then if we want to know which is the crop, so you drag over. Okay, now you need to count the number of columns. So we drag 1 2 3 4 5, right? Okay, then you comma index number 5, the 5th column. We are checking, is this table sorted? No, this table is not sorted, so we put false. Okay, and then we enter. The humidity of 20.58 is barley. Is that true? So I don't know, so let's check. 20.58, right? 20.58 is indeed barley. Okay, so this is how you use VLOOKUP. But then how about XLOOKUP? When do you use XLOOKUP? Okay, so same thing. Let's say we want to okay, so one thing good about XLOOKUP is that you don't have to limit to the key value that you're looking up has to be the first one. So what does it mean? So if let's say for example okay, let me try to think of an example. Let's say you want to know for rice, no, yeah, for rice, let me see. What's the example that I gave? Oh, the quality. It was quality. Okay, let's say I want to know that P17. Let's say I want to know that for this humidity of 20.58, what's the quality of the crop? So again, humidity is here, right? So just now when we use VLOOKUP, we want to look at the crops that is with humidity 20.58, and we can do that because we just go to, okay, starting from the key, we go 1 2 3 4 5, the 5th column. But in this case, we want to look at the quality, the soil quality for this humidity of 20.58. the problem is humidity is here, quality is here. There's no way that I can go reverse, right? I cannot like write index equal to -2. It will create an error. So if let's say you want to use VLOOKUP for this, then the cheating way is you copy the quality column and then you paste it after the humidity column. So you copy this column and then you paste it after humidity, so that you can like column second column and then index equal to 2. So that is one way to do it if you are using VLOOKUP, but that's very troublesome and we really don't want to change the table. So we don't want to change the data if necessary. So what we should do is we should use XLOOKUP instead. So what it does is, let's say I'm going to delete this away. So for XLOOKUP, we want to look at the quality. For soil quality, for humidity 20.58, so we put equal to XLOOKUP. Okay, the first thing is the search key, which is here 20.58, comma the lookup range. The lookup range, where's the humidity? Okay, the lookup range, sorry, I'm dreaming. The lookup range is the column where we have the humidity, so that's the lookup range, comma the result range is where we want to look for the result, the column we want to look for a result, which is the soil quality, right? Which is E, which is this soil quality column E. Okay, comma, how come it's not coming out anymore? Actually don't need comma, just close can already. Yeah, because we don't need the rest of the variables. So you can see that the answer is C. So let's see whether it's really C. Let's look for 20.58 humidity. 20.58, the quality is indeed C. So by doing this, you can actually find the value you want using XLOOKUP instead of VLOOKUP. So it's definitely more flexible. And there's also another way, another reason why people use XLOOKUP, which is so I have this bucket here to demonstrate. I have a pH bucket, so I decide to put a range to know that which is the pH range that we have. So I have less than 5 for 5. Yeah, 5 or less than 5, less than or equal to 5. Okay, and then 7 is 5 to 7, 8 is 7 to 8, or actually, yeah, and then more than 8 would be 9. Okay, why is it that 5 to 7 I put 7 and 7 to 8 I put 8? So always put the higher range, the highest number of the range. So less than or equal to 5, the highest is 5. 5 to 7, for the range 5 to 7, 7 is the highest. 7 to 8, 8 is the highest. More than 8 will be 9. So I have these values here. The reason is because our pH data is not a whole number. So you have a decimal number. So what if it's like 4.7? So 4.7 is very easy, it's less than or equal to 5. How about 7.8? So 7.8 is 7 to 8. So 7.8, it had to jump to the 7 to 8 instead of the 5 to 7 row, the bucket. So that is why we always use the highest number for the check. Okay, now we have created this bucket for the range. So we can use XLOOKUP to actually put all these pH into the separate bucket using XLOOKUP. So this is the formula. So okay, maybe I should delete away, then I can show it to you. Okay, let me delete this. Let's call this pH bucket. Okay, so to put all these values into a bucket, what I do is I use xlookup. Okay, so the first thing is, why is it okay? So if the tip doesn't appear, it's because you closed it previously. You just have to click on the question mark again, then you'll give you the tips. Okay, the first thing is the search key. So why are we searching? We are searching by pH, right? Yeah, pH. Okay, then the lookup range. The lookup range for the first one is wait, what are we looking up? Oh yeah, here. Sorry. So the lookup range will be here. I forgot what I did also. The result is here. Yeah, I think that's correct. That's not correct. Yeah, sometimes I forgot what I do also. H2. Okay. Okay, again we search by the pH value, then we look up here, which is P28 to P31. We check whether it's 5, 7, 8 or 9. Okay, and then the missing value, the result range, which is what we want to put inside the cell, will be here, which is, this is the column O. We forgot to put the missing values, so missing value match. Wait, ちょっと待って。Oh, I put 1. So that's the missing thing. Okay. Yeah, that's why it's a studying, not a teaching session, because sometimes I can't remember. Let's look up again. Can we put this somewhere? pH is here, right? Okay. Why is it showing up there? Let's look up pH. That's the key. We check this column P28 to 31. Also, we want to lock this. Always lock the cell. I mean, not always lah, but sometimes you need to lock the cell so that it doesn't like move, because later if we auto fill, right, this one will also auto move, and then it will go down to the next row, which in this case should be fixed because our table is fixed here. So we use the dollar sign to fix the column and the row. Okay, so that's the lookup range, and then the result is here. Result is what we want to show, so we put the dollar sign also. Okay, missing value we don't care, match mode we don't care, search mode equal to 1. Okay, let's see. Search mode is how do you search through the lookup range. 1 is to search from the first entry to the last one. -1 to search from the last entry to the first. 2 is to search through the range using binary search, blah 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 blah. So in this case, we only want to search from the first entry to the last. So that's why we use 1. Close bracket. Are they? Nani? Hmm? Why is it empty? Hmm? Hmm? It should be one, huh? Look up. Range is P. Result is O. Hmm? It's automatic. $28 to $32. Why is it 32? It should be 28 to 31, right? Yeah, 28 to 31. Okay, let's try again. I want to see what's the problem. Adds lookup. The pH value. $28 to $31. And then the data 28 to 31, comma, 1. Huh. Oh, I added additional comma accidentally. Why did I add so many comma? Comma, 1. Okay, it's because of the additional comma. Okay, so it's working. Yeah, sometimes it's just a comma. So you can see this is how you can use adds lookup to put the numbers into a bucket, which is pretty useful. Okay, so the next thing I want to teach you is something called the if-s. So this is also very useful. So just now we have seen how if and if-s are used on count, sum, minimum, maximum, all this, right? But what if we want to use it as a condition by itself alone? Like, is it rice or wheat? Okay, so let's add one more column. Let's check whether is it APAC? We want to see whether this is a APAC region. So this will be if. Okay, let's add one more condition. Or LATAM. Is it APAC or LATAM? Okay. So what we do is we use equal. If you only have one condition, just use if. In this case, we have two conditions, so we use if-s. Then you open bracket the first condition. Okay, the first condition is this cell, okay, equal to K2, right? Yeah, correct. Okay, K2. Oh, right, J2, because I'm using APAC or LATAM. Sorry. So this is the key that the the key that we are trying to check. Okay, if this region is equal to APAT. Okay, then if it's true, if it's APAT, if it's APAT, then we just put APAT lah, which is the same value. Okay, and then we can have a second condition. Again, we want to check this same key whether it's equal to LATEM. If it's correct, then just put whatever it is. Okay, then lastly, if it's false, what if it's none of the above? Do I put one none of the above? Oh, I don't put none of the above. Okay. Just like that. Oh, we can use, yeah, we can, there's a way to put none of the above. Sorry, let's do this again. Okay. If this region is equal to APAT, then we point to the J2. Okay, then the second condition is if this is equal to LATEM, then we point to the same, we just show it. And then the third condition, additional values to be written if their corresponding values are true, or additional conditions to be where the previous ones are false. Okay, if the previous ones are false, that means the first condition, okay, the return value if condition 1 is true, additional if the condition, if all conditions are false, NA is returned. But what if I want to put a value if all conditions are false? So in that case, I just put true. Oh, right. Okay, I remember why now. Other regions. Yes, I remember why already. Okay. Okay, so the first condition we check is whether J2 here is equal to APAT. If it's yes, then we just put the value J2, which in this case APAT. And then the second condition is we check whether it's LATEM. If it's true, then we just put LATEM. Okay, so let me drag down and show you. Okay, in this case, we are checking the third criteria, but instead of putting whether is a condition of whatever, we just put the value true, which means that if it's false for the first two conditions, then the third condition which force it to be true, if it's, that means is which leave us to the other conditions. In that case, the other conditions we can put whatever we want here. In this case, we just put the text other regions. I know it's a bit confusing. So yeah, so that's how you use if else. So instead of putting false here, I know it's very tempting to write false because it's like true, then if it's false, then we put other things lah. But actually, we need to write true instead of false because we are forcing it to be true when everything else is false. When this is true is the else condition, then we put whatever value we want. So this is how you use if else. Okay, next let's look at something a bit random. So we have looked at if if as everything, how about the date and time? So this is something interesting. So you can always find out what is today's date without typing today's date. Just type equal today, open and close bracket. That is today. And then you can put the date after that. So if I want to know how many days since the past to today, since 9th of August to today. Oh, by the way, this is the default format for Google. It's always month, day, year. So this is August 9th, not 8th of September. Okay, so we want to know how many days from the past to today. We just use the formula equal dated if. So equal dated if, okay, the start date, which is the past date, yeah, past date, and then the end date, which is today. In this case, we want to know how many days, so we use D. So if we use D, it's not D, man. Oh, always remember to open and close bracket. Yeah, open, inverted commas. So D for day, and then you have M for month. How many? What happened? Okay, D for days, then how many months? M. How many years since, well, 65 to 25? You just put Y for year. And then at the same time, you can also grab from the date. You can grab what are the date, the month and year, split it out. So in this case, all you have to do is equal day. So in this case, equal day of the date. If let's say I want to do it for today, okay. For today, the date will be okay. What is it again? Or day, month, year. Okay. So today will be equal day, today's date, which is 14. Month is equal month, today's date. Okay, year is equal year, today's date. Yep, so that's how you can spread it out. Okay, that's kind of random, but that's how you deal with dates. Huh, I didn't expect this alone to take so long, and that's just the basic function. Okay, so next we look at something that is more interesting. I know this is a very colorful table, but before we go into the colorful table, I want to go through something called unit also. So there's a function called unit where you can find out the unit values in that column. So let's say, for example, in this case I have the unit countries. If let's say, for example, I want to find out what's the unit values in column bird species. Okay, so all you need to do is you put equal unit, the range of the bird species. Okay, then close bracket. Actually, there are only 5 types of birds here. Oh, interesting. Okay, so these are the unit values of that column. That's how you use unit. And then the other thing I want to talk about is some text formatting. So there's something called text join and split. Okay, So let's do the text join first. So what text join does is that you actually literally join two columns of text. In this case, we join country and year. So what we do is equal to text join, open bracket, the delimiter. So what do you want to, you can have a space, or you can have whatever you want to put in between. So let's put you can have more than one also. I mean more than one delimiter. No, you can have one. So I can have slash this time. Okay. Ignore empty. So if it's true, empty cell selected in the text won't be included in the result. So if it's true, then yeah, so we don't select the empty cell. Okay, then the first text is let's say we have this time we have year first. Okay, and then the second text is country. Okay, then close. So you see, this is how you do a text join. So it has just joined the text for, well, year and country with the slash in between. Okay. And then the other thing I want to talk about is split. How do we do split? So okay, so let's say you want to split for some reason you want to split because of the dash, you want to split this based on the dash for some reason, because there's also a dash here. You can do that by searching for the dash. So you equal to split. Okay, so what is the text you want to split? So the text is this key A2. Okay, and split by the dash in this case. Actually you can ignore the rest and then just enter. So you realize that the next word actually goes into the you split one cell into two different columns. The next word actually go into the next text go into the second column. So that's how you do a split. So you can, yeah, so this is how you do a split. And then this is another example of how to use if. In this case we are checking if J2, which is here, the traffic is more than 1000, then we put high traffic. If it is not true, then it will show low traffic. So this is how you use if. Okay, so like I say, this table is very colorful, right? So I'm going to teach you how to do that. Clear formatting first. Okay, so first of all, we want to put the alternate color so that we can separate the rows. It's very difficult to see like that. So you can go to format, alternating colors. Then you can choose from here what are the colors that you want. So immediately you can have a different color for your header, and then you can have a different color, alternate color for the different rows. Then you can change the color here also, like maybe change this to, I don't know, gray. Yeah, so this is how you make alternating colors for the column. You don't go each column by each column to color. Okay. Then the other thing is conditional formatting. That one is more interesting. So alternating colors is only aesthetics, but sometimes we want to like use different color to highlight different things. So when you want to do that, you go to Format, Conditional Formatting. Okay, this is where it's fun. So what you can do is, whoa, why is there? Okay, so what you can do is, okay, let me make sure I don't select anything. Format, Conditional Formatting. Okay, so what you can do is you use apply it to the table, of course. Okay, so you can format the cell by how do I do that? Color scale, yes. Okay, you can format using color scale. So what does it mean? So let's say what you can do is okay, color scale is something that is very troublesome because you have to do it row by row. Okay, so let's say for example, for this particular row, for some reason I want to see no, actually no, not by row, by column. Let's say you want to do it by column. Because in this case, when I say by row, it's like when you have January, February, March, April, all this, right, with the same kind of sales figures for different months, then yeah, it's by row. But if let's say in this case, let's say I want to know that okay, for temperature, let's say for temperature, I want to know for this row from the highest to the lowest. So in this case, minimum to maximum. So what I can do is I can use a default. For example, you can choose this. Why is it not happening? Why didn't it show just now? Huh? Okay, let me try again. Clear formatting, conditional formatting, color scale. Okay, for some reason it didn't show just now. Okay, so this is by default, which is very confusing. So we can also choose a different color. That's even more confusing. Like this. Okay, so what is the different color supposed to mean? So you can see here minimum value. For minimum value, for now it is the most green color. The smaller the value, the more green. And then maximum value is almost white. Huh. If I choose this, yeah, this is more accurate. So all the minimum value are very red, and then all the maximum, the nearer it is to the maximum value, is very green, and then the one in the middle is like pretty white. So yeah, so this is how you use range to at a glance you know that okay, the lowest, what is this temperature? The lowest temperature is maybe about 10, and the higher one about 34. You know, this is how you can use conditional formatting to see the different range. Okay, or you can also use single color. So what does it mean? So let's say for example you select everything. Okay, format, conditional formatting. You can add another rule. What is this? You want to look for something. You can do it for things like text contains is not empty. What is the date? Greater than, less than. So let's say for example, if we go for text contains, we want to highlight Pakistan for some reason. Okay, then you highlight to be, I don't know, yellow. Done. It's not highlighted. Why is it not highlighted? Nande. Is it because of the open and close? It's the open and close. Okay. Yeah. So this is how you use formatting. Okay, so we are done with this. Chatbots. This is interesting. So you can create chatbots in Excel and Google Sheets. So all you have to do is remove, or buy, sell. So what you do is you just highlight the places where you want to add the chatbots, then go to insert and then chatbots. That's it. It's so simple. And then when you chat, it becomes true, unchat, it becomes false. So what can you do with this? You can use count to count these chatbots. How many do we have check? So you can use count if and count a. So what do we mean? So if we use, so first of all, if you use count if, actually don't need count if, count can already. Why do I use count if? Oh, count if true. So if we use count if, we count this range, and then the criteria is it has to be true. The count is 0 now. So if you check bot once, it become 1. Check box another one, it become 2. And then the count if will calculate the difference. I mean will calculate the total of check box. So how did I do this? So what I did was, we have count if, right? Then we can also count the total number. If you use count a, if you remember, count a is actually counting just the total number of items. So if I do this, it will just give me the total number of chatbots, which is 12, regardless of whether it's chat or not chat. It's still 12. So by doing this, you can actually combine these two using the, I don't know what you call this, the and symbol, Emmersphere? Don't know, I can't remember what's it called. English is muzukashi. With this and symbol, you can add these two together like a string. So the slash is just add the slash with the double quote, and then just add another symbol, and then count a, right? Count a here. So that was how I created this 0, this 2, 12, 3, 12, whatever. But how is it that how are we highlighting this at the same time changing color? Haha, that is why we have conditional formatting. So in order to do that, what I did was I select this, applying to A2 to B13, and we use something called a custom formula. So custom formula, and then you select equal to B2. So what does it mean? So let me show you. I think what I can do is I clear the formatting. Clear formatting. Okay, let's select the whole thing here, and then format, conditional formatting. Now you know that the whole thing is selected. So we go to custom formula right at the bottom. I think I'm covering it. Yeah, it's actually right at the bottom. You can't see it because I'm covering it. So when you choose custom formula, Okay, then you just have to equal to B2. Huh. Equal to true. What did I do? Are they? Wait, what did I do? Huh. Oh, it's just the... I have to fix it to B2. Okay. Okay. Then what if I do this? Clear formatting? No. Clear formatting. What if I do it for 2 column? I don't think I can do it for 2 column. Because you can only have one value at one time, right? Custom formula is equal to B2. I don't think I can do an N. Yeah, I can only do on 1 column because it cannot recognize 2 values at the same time. Ah, that sucks. So which means that for the second one, what I have to do is, okay, I know how to do this. Let me clear this condition. Okay, so I actually only have to select here. Oh no, I have to select here because I'm to highlight the words also. Okay, add a condition rule. Format rule is custom formula equal to B2, which means that if it's true, let's use I don't know, by let's use okay lor, green lor. Done. Okay, and then the second one, actually I should use the same color. We add another rule. Same thing, custom formula. Yeah, let's use the same color. I forgot what was that green. Okay, let's choose something that I can remember. The third yellow. I thought I put already. Equal to C2. Okay, done. Okay. Then we just have to change this one to the third yellow. Oh, but then when I click this, the text is not highlighted. Oh, because of the range, the application of the range, it should be like that. Okay, now it should work. So if I do this, yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, so this is sorry, let me, okay. Yeah, so this is how you use conditional format. Okay, cool. Okay, next we have chatbots already. Next, table. Okay, so table. Let me show you how to create table. So this is what a table looks like. So what I can do is I can select this, and then paste. Okay, and then this I can make this into a table. Convert, you go to format and then convert to table. Okay, so this has now become a table. Okay, let me delete this away since I recreated a new table. Okay. So what it means is that when you force this thing becoming a table, you can do a lot of things. So you can, first of all, you can rename the table. It's always best not to use a space lah, so that you can reference to this table as a variable in the future. And then you can do things like of course all the formatting. You can go back to the unformatted data also. But there are some things that are very important. Okay, so one thing good about the table is that first of all, it forces the header to be frozen. If you know, usually we always try to freeze the header, right? So that when you go to call row 77, the header is still visible. You still know that the value is belongs to pH or rainfall. So when you turn this into a table, one thing good is that you have all the auto filtering here already. You can do all the filtering or all the sorting that you want. So you can sort by, I only want to see A quality. Then you have just showing the A quality now, and I only want to see, let's say, LATAM. Yeah, so this is how you can use the table. Is very convenient. And then the next thing is you can also sort, so you can sort A to Z or whatever, of course. Okay. And then one thing very useful about table is that you can group by view. So you can actually create a filter view. So let's say you create a filter view. Let's close this. So you can create a view. No, not like that. Okay, so you can group by view. Let's say I want to group by region. Yeah. So this one is a view by the different regions. Like you can have all the APAC, all the AUNZ, or the LATAM here. And then you can, after that you can like group by, I don't know, crops. You get barley, cotton, rice. So that's why table view is very powerful, because it makes it easier for you to look at data. And then you just have to exit view. You can save your temporary view, or I mean, it's up to you whether you want to save or not. Okay, so this is table. Okay, so we have table. I think we also talked about filtering just now, right? So I think we don't have to talk about filtering here. Okay, so this is something very interesting, something called the spark lines. Spark line, we are referring to this. Okay, so this will be useful if you have this kind of data where the different columns are showing you values based on usually time range, like sales value from January to December. In this case is the closing shares price for the top 20 companies. So this is like the mini graph showing you for these 6 days what's the performance of the share. You can see that for Microsoft is like up and down, up and down. And then what this is Walmart. Oh, Walmart is going up. Oracle is going all the way down. So this is like a mini chart for you to see. And the formula is actually very simple. It's really just called spark line. So you equal spark line, then you open bracket. Okay, the data, the range of data. So in this case, you just select the range of data that you want to plot the line. Okay, selected, and then comma, the options. Okay, so options by default is a line graph, but you can also have weird, I won't say weird, you can have other kind of graph. Like for example, you can have a chart type equal to bar. Okay, like that got used, man. It's all just, yeah, I think this is like too small a space for bar chart though. Okay, what other type of graph do I have? So we have bar, column. Okay, we have line. Okay, I want to make sure that my head is not blocking it. Okay, we have line, we have bar, column, win loss, or the positive and negative. Column would be very difficult to see, right? And then you can set the color of the line. You know, all these. Okay, let's try column. Okay, let's see how the column would look like. It'll be so small, man. Column, column. Huh, actually you can see but then the color a bit black is a bit so let's change the color a bit. So semicolon, what is it, color, let's use red. Huh, actually column is not so bad Okay, it can be a bit overwhelming if you look at it like that. Okay, what if I put a border around it? Okay, it's not so bad if you put a border around it. So yeah, so it's not just the line graph, you can also have the spotlight in a, well, column format if you like to see columns. Yeah, okay, so that's spotlight. Okay, now something that is more interesting, and I don't know whether I should do this first or the data validation first. Okay, let's do pivot table first. Pivot table is actually not as difficult. I know a lot of people have heart attack when their boss tell them to do them a pivot table. But pivot table is actually not so difficult. Okay, so first of all, how do you make a pivot table? So first of all, you select the table and then you insert. Where's pivot table? Pivot table. Yeah, sorry, I'm blind. So you insert pivot table, and then they will ask you, okay, do you want to put it on the same sheet or do you want to make a new sheet? Usually we try to make a new sheet for best practice so that you keep the data clean. Okay, I have already created that, so I'm not going to do that. So this is the pivot table that I created from this group of data. So after you say create a new sheet, this is what happened. But how do we so what happened here? Okay, maybe I should actually do it one by one, step by step, I mean. Okay, let me delete this. It's okay, just delete. Okay, let's try again. I select everything, I mean the table lah, and then you insert pivot table, new sheet, create. Okay, so this is your pivot table. Why is it 2? It's 1 Okay, already Google AI will suggest some tables for you to use. You can use it or you can ignore it, like most of us. Okay, on the right side, I'm not blocking, right? Okay, on the right side is all the column that you have in the table. So N, P, K, quality, temperature, humidity, blah blah blah, which is exactly what we have here from crop all the way to region. Okay, so we have rows, we have columns, and we have values. So these are the 3 important things. So what does it mean? So if, let's say for example, I want to know, okay, first of all you need to know what are the values that are important to you when you create the pivot table. In this case, let's say to me maybe is rainfall. I don't know, rainfall might be important. Then you can either drag and drop rainfall from the right hand side, or you can just use the word add, click on add to add the column that you want. Wait, what did we say? Rainfall, right? Okay, rainfall. By default there's a sum, so you can have like the total rainfall. You can also have other things like count, like how many rainfall are there? 15? Huh? Only got 15? Oh, we only have 15 in the table. Okay. Also we can have average rainfall, or we can have maximum, minimum, medium, you know, everything that we talked about just now. Okay, let's have average, I guess. It doesn't make sense to know the total rainfall. Okay, and then, but this is the rainfall for average rainfall for the whole table. Let's say this is what you want to know, rainfall. Okay, then the next thing you have to ask yourself is rainfall of what. So maybe I want to know the rainfall by, I don't know, region. Then you add region to the column. So immediately after you add region to the column, you can see that you have rainfall by APAC, average, the average rainfall for AUNZ, average rainfall for LATAM and US, and then this is the average actually instead of grand total. But instead of using columns, you can also put in rows, so you can drag the region to rows. Then this is what you see. So you have the average rainfall of the same thing but now in rows. Okay, then what if I want to know, what else do I want to know? The crops for, okay, let's say I don't know the region. I want to know that what are the average rainfall for what crops. Then let's say I add crops here, then we have the different crops. And then I want to know for the different region. Then now we have the different rows showing the different regions. For APAC, for Bali, average rainfall. What is the average rainfall? So some of the values are missing. Let's take a look. Why is it empty? Oh, because there is no rice for AUNZ. So let's say we look at rice. Rice is only found for LATAM. So that's why you only have that value for LATAM. So this is how you create a pivot table, which is actually pretty easy if you ask me, because it's really just drag and drop. The more important thing is not creating the table itself. The more important thing is what do you need, what is the information you need. In this case, we want to know that for which region, what are the average rainfall for which crop. So So this is the kind of table we create, but you need to know what you need. So the first thing you ask yourself is, what is the value you want to know? In this case, rainfall, and then average rainfall. And then the next thing is you want to know how do you want to group the values. So we want to group it by the different crops and the different region. So that's how we come up with the different rows and columns. In fact, you can, instead of rows and columns, you can even, which is weird, but you can also like put everything in rows, which is like that, APAT, then the different crops, the different average rainfall. You can also do something like that, because it's really, the table is up to you to design. And then you can put the crops to the column also, back to the column, or the other way around. Yeah, so this is pivot table. The pivot table is not that difficult, just drag and drop. Okay, and then the last thing for basic, this is something that to prepare you for the advanced actually. So at first I was thinking maybe I should do this in advance, but maybe what I'll do is I will still go through this data validation, but when I do the advanced session, I will revise again. Wait, something is wrong? No, I thought I heard dropping out of Discord, OBS. No, it's not. Okay, so what does data validation mean? So sometimes you are not the one who's entering data. Like maybe in the office, you have to have somebody else enter the data. In this case, maybe we have how many? 6. I cannot count. 7. We have 7 farmers here. Okay, let's say we have 7 farmers here. Alice, Bob, Calvin, blah blah blah, and then they have to enter the crop rating on the day that they survey for the crop type that they survey. So some idiots might anyhow enter, like, I don't know, Alice might just enter 100 point, and then 1000 point. Okay, maybe I should remove the validation first. Let me remove all the validation. Okay, maybe Alice will put like 1000 point, and then survey date, I don't know, 14 November, and then spell wrongly some more. Okay, and then crop name maybe is supposed to be soybean, she put soy, and then it's like they can just anyhow enter, right? And then if let's say you use this form, and then you enter all these value into your database, your whole data is going to be corrupted. So that's why we need data validation. Data validation is used to limit the error, to make sure that people don't make stupid mistake. Okay, not stupid mistake. People don't anyhow. Okay, so how do you do that? Okay, so simple. First, let's select the column called crop rating. We know that, let's say crop rating. Let's set the rule here. Crop rating must be maybe from 10 to 100. Okay, and then survey date must be date lah. Okay, and then crop name must be from here. Okay, so first we select the column for crop rating. Then you go to data validation. Okay, you will have the data validation rules window open. Then you will add rule. Okay, so in the rule section, the criteria, we are going to choose from the criteria. Let's choose, I think I'm blocking the selection. In is between. Okay, so I chose under criteria is between. So you give a minimum number to a maximum number. In this case, the minimum number is 10. and the maximum number is 100. Okay, and then let me move my head. I'm blocking everything, right? Yeah, sorry. Actually, let me come here. Yeah. Okay. So you choose the criteria is between. Okay, we choose the minimum number, we choose the maximum number, and then you show help text. So this is the default help text. You can change the help text, and the number between 10 and 100, you can write whatever you want. If exclamation mark. Okay, and then if the data is invalid, do you show a warning and still accept the value, or you reject? Of course we reject. Okay, then you're done. Okay, so now if Alice try to enter 1000, you will have the error message. There was a problem. Okay, so she cannot ha. Okay lor. So this is how you validate. Make sure people enter correct values and don't anyhow. Okay, same thing for the date. We can also do data validation for date. So let's add a rule. Select the column, add a rule. Criteria is valid date. Okay, is valid date is make sure they enter in a correct date format. But what's more important is you can also do things like date is before or after. So date cannot be after today, right? So date is on or before today. Yeah, I think that's a good rule. And then again, show helpful text. Don't enter future date bodo. Okay, and then reject. Done. So if let's say it's at least try to enter December 25th, yeah, she will have an error, but she can enter today's date. Okay, so this is how you restrict the date. Okay, then this is the more interesting part. So what if you want to make sure that people choose the correct type of crops? It's like, don't come on choose something like, don't write something like, I don't know, what is there, kangkong? Yeah, because there's no kangkong here. Okay, so how do you do that? You make a drop down for people to enter lah. So in same thing, you select the column, you add a rule. Okay, now you can see that we can use drop down. So there's two ways to enter the drop down. One is you use drop down and then you put the options here manually. More neater way is what we usually do is we actually create a table of the drop down list, and then we put this somewhere else. Of course, not on the same worksheet. Usually we create in another hidden worksheet. So what we do is you use drop down from a range, and then you select the range that you want to use for the drop down. Okay, yeah, you have to go here first and then select the range G3 to G8. Correct. Okay, so you can see that once you selected the correct range, you can see that it automatically enter here for you. You can choose different color for the different value if you want to be fancy also, but I don't know why. Okay, and then you can allow multiple selection also if you want. And then if you go to advanced option, because now it's like that. Okay, I show you the different colors. It's pretty lame lah. Like you can have different color lor, but well, anyway. And then for advanced option, you can also wait, what else can we do? We can also change the way you display the drop down. Now it's called a chip style. You can also have arrow. People are more used to having arrows. Or you can have plain text. Plain text is like, how to plain text? Oh, plain text means you have to enter. No lah. Let's change to arrow. Okay. And then reject the output, show help text. Don't need to show help text lah, just select lah. Okay, let's see where the help text appear. Is crop name, I don't know. So where the help text appear? I don't see any help text there. Here? I don't know where the help text appear. Yeah, so so this is how you make a list, so that people have to select from the list. Yep, so that's it. That's how you do data validation. Okay, I think I will end the stream here today for the basic function, because it's really all the basic for today. Let me get back where I'm supposed to stand. Okay, so yeah, so this is the basic for using Google Sheets and Excel. Most of the formulas or functions that I explained here is basically the same as what you can find on Excel. Maybe just a few variation on the formula name or anything, because like I think for text, right, instead of split, I think Excel is called text split or something like that. So some of the functions is just different naming, but they definitely have the same formula between Google Sheet and Excel, so you can just, well, Google. Yep, so for the next session I will talk more about creating forms. So the data validation is a very basic of what you need to know before you start creating your own form on Google Sheet or Excel. So in the next stream for this Excel stream, I will talk more about how to create forms, how to use formulas and maybe some simple coding to do validation or to process the form, and then how to protect your worksheet or hide your worksheet so that the formulas or script will not be tampered by people when you share it in the office. So yeah, so I think we can talk about that in the next stream, since today is supposed to be just basic. Well, okay, I guess I'm going to end the stream here then. And yep, thank you for dropping by, everybody, and I'll see you guys on the next stream. Thank you, and remember to like and subscribe. じゃあね、またね。